The story begins in the Okinawa Islands in April 2025. Our protagonist, 13-year-old Ao Fukai, has just escorted his childhood friend Naru Rada back home. On his way back, he stumbles upon three smugglers, Gazelle, Pippo, and Hanjuno. As he tries to escape the scene, a scub coral suddenly appears, causing the bracelet that the smugglers were trying to smuggle to the Japanese armed forces to go missing. The next day, the smugglers come looking for Ao as they believe he has taken the bracelet. However, before they can retrieve it, another scub coral with a G-monster inside it arrives and causes chaos throughout Iwadojima. As events unfold, Ao realizes that the bracelet was once owned by his mother, Eureka, who has been missing for a long time. Despite the smugglers' efforts, Ao refuses to part with the bracelet as it holds significant sentimental value to him. As the G-monster proceeds to attack Iwadojima, Ao is compelled to pilot an IFO that the Japanese Navy was transporting in order to stop the G-monster. While Team Pied Piper pilots Fleur Blanc and Elena Peoples watch, they realize that this IFO is the first ever model created as the bracelet activates the IFO, changing his brown hair to turquoise at the start of the combat. Kazuyuki Kaneshiro, a local musician, kidnaps Ao and holds him captive after apologizing to him for the actions of his age. When Eureka had previously materialized out of nowhere, the locals had attributed her to the awful mishaps that had befallen the island. Another scub coral appears, unleashing a powerful G-monster in the vicinity. Ao is set free by the smugglers and sent to the Nervash, where he understands that it must be the IFO that his mother was flying, and that he was the one who intended to take control of it in her place. With some assistance from Team Pied Piper, Ao takes on the G-monster with a renewed commitment to defending Iwadojima. Following the incident, Ao starts to comprehend how complicated the world is. Ao takes a plane to Okinawa, where he meets up with Naru and Team Pied Piper leader Ivica Tanovi, who informs him of Eureka's disappearance. Ao decides to join Generation Blue in an effort to track down his mother and discover more about his birth. As part of Generation Blue's public relations strategy, Team Pied Piper is required to participate in a unique event in Switzerland. However, Fleur and Elena make Ao dress as a girl, much to his displeasure. The group escapes a persistent journalist at the festival, before being summoned back to face a secret that suddenly surfaces on the Italian border. Ao starts to question why he joined Generation Blue in the first place, as he gets used to the group's members and way of life. In the meantime, the smugglers meet with Christophe Blanc, the Generation Blue president, who informs them of the organization's goals for researching the scub corals and battling the secrets. Following their surgery, Team Goldilocks is attacked by a secret posing as a cyclone. When Team Goldilocks needs assistance, Team Pied Piper is sent. When Team Pied Piper arrives, they discover that Team Goldilocks captain, Bruno Hans, gave his life to save his teammates. A tired Ao is left behind as they battle the enemy secret, after reclaiming the pilots and their IFOs. After awakening, Ao learns of their war with the secret from one of Goldilocks' pilots, Chloe McCaffrey, and devises a strategy to win. A mysterious stranger is watching Ao as he confronts the secret and shows an interest in him. In an effort to find the Nervash, the stranger, who goes by the name Truth, breaks into Generation Blue's headquarters. Ao gets into a fight with him and gets knocked out, dreaming the entire time. In this dream, Truth poses as Ao and takes Naru to view a plant coral. However, when the real Ao discovers them, Truth and Naru vanish, despite Ao's best efforts to save them. 3 days later, when Ao finally awakens, she learns that Truth had actually been to Iwadojima and had taken Naru hostage. The United States government forces Generation Blue not to interact with a secret that emerges in the Republic of Faisal Arabia, in order to protect its interests. The reason Fleur, Ao's comrade, despises her father, Christophe, is that 5 years ago, he saved her from a car accident rather than his wife, according to Fleur. When they are finally given the go-ahead to engage the foe, Ao is able to lift her spirits, and both of them return to the fight with new vigor. A Japanese Defense Force officer named Nakamura experiments in Tokyo Bay to try and grow a fate plant coral. But then a secret comes and begins to cause mayhem. When Team Pied Piper is sent to the region, Ao goes against orders to combat the secret, after learning that defending the city from it is not their top concern. A scub burst appears in Phoenix, Arizona, and Ao and Ivica proceed to assess the situation, as Team Pied Piper waits for official authority to intervene. As they arrive, Ao runs into Truth again, holding several survivors captive, while the US Army devises a new strategy to deal with the enemy secret, which has terrible results. Unaware that they took a sand-like substance with them that causes the young pilots to experience intense hallucinations, Team Pied Piper returns from a mission in Australia. The smugglers look into the background of Ao's colleague pilot Elena in the meantime, only to find that it is even stranger than they had anticipated, because of how much Miller, an indie music singer who appears to be a spy for the American government, looks like her. Team Pied Piper delivers collected quartz to Team Harlequin at a Generation Blue space station. When a secret assaults a scud coral that has appeared in low orbit while they are there, Team Pied Piper is dispatched to defend it. When Ao finally succeeds in taking out the scud coral in orbit, it is revealed that it was actually carrying the Gecko and Anirecaps TYPE-0 that was being commanded by none other than Eureka. Ao learns on board the Gecko that the Eureka standing in front of him is an earlier version of her, from the time she was still pregnant. The Okinawan Allied forces and the Japanese armed forces quickly surround the ship in a desperate attempt to seize both the former Eureka and her Nervash. Ao, Team Pied Piper, and the smugglers are besieged by Truth as they attempt to figure out how to transport Eureka back to her own time. Ao succeeds in bringing Eureka back to her proper time despite Truth's involvement. Then she informs him that the child she is carrying is a girl and not a boy, indicating that Ao has an elder sister. When he returns home to discover more about his sister, he is informed by his grandfather, Dr. Toshio Fukai, that Neru has returned. However, after she was reunited with him, the Japanese government claimed Iwato Jima and accused Ao of killing one of its officers, Endo. Ao is sent out with his team to confront a secret who has appeared next to a scud coral that has unexpectedly been revived, uneasy after his previous interaction with Neru and Eureka's assertion that the secrets are not foes. After being shot down by the enemy, Ao awakens to discover that other scud coral around the globe is also being reactivated, which puts Generation Blue on high alert to deal with the several secrets that are nearby. Several nations join Generation Blue's unique Operation Polaris, which aims to draw every secret that has ever appeared anywhere on the planet to a barren region of the Arctic and destroy it. Ao takes the initiative to ensure that there are no human casualties in the operation after Truth interferes and alters his course above Norway's plant coral. Ao discovers that his actions have altered history, and he is the only one to comprehend this, after dispatching the secrets with his newly discovered weapon, the quartz gun. Ao verifies that Team Goldilocks members are going about their regular lives, as if they had never been put together at all. However, the general population begins to turn against Generation Blue, and the quartz gun begins to move on its own during a mission in the middle of the ocean. The work by Johansson, who believed in the existence of other worlds, was concluded by Han Juno. In this world, Okinawa gained independence, the Soviet Union remained in power, and there was a roughly half-reduced human population. Ao confronts Truth, and during their brief interaction, Eureka tells him why she vanished. Ao's actions soon put him in a dangerous situation, as the American army sees him as a valuable asset. He decides to turn himself in, along with the nerve ash and the quartz gun, in order to protect his friends and allies from being targeted by the army. Meanwhile, his friends Fleur and Elena, who are part of the resistance group against the army, hear about Ao's detention and become concerned about his safety, as well as the intentions of the army's secret organization, Generation Blue. The two women decide to launch a daring rescue mission and attack the carrier where Ao is being held captive by U.S. officer Nick Tanaka. They believe that they must bring Ao back to their side as they fear that the army's motives are not entirely clear. With tensions running high and the future uncertain, the stage is set for a dramatic and action-packed rescue mission to bring Ao back to safety. Truth's reaction to the discovery of his true identity is one of intense anger and disbelief. When he learns that he is actually a secret, a being with extraordinary powers, and that his memories have been erased, he is filled with rage. He lashes out by destroying thousands of satellites around the world, including the space station of Generation Blue. The Allied forces, who had previously been in a tense standoff with Generation Blue, seize the opportunity to accuse the organization of being responsible for the tragedy and launch a full-scale assault on their facilities. In the chaos that ensues, Truth sees an opportunity to sneak into the facility and try to steal the quartz gun, a powerful weapon that he believes will help him unlock the full extent of his powers. However, he is confronted by Christoph, a member of Generation Blue who is determined to stop him. In a dramatic showdown, Christoph sacrifices himself to protect Ao and Fleur, who is also in the facility at the time. By giving his life, Christoph helps Ao and Fleur escape and foil Truth's plans, setting the stage for the next chapter in this epic tale. Ao and his pals can escape, taking the quartz gun with them, after learning that Elena and the members of Team Harlequin turned sides and joined the Allied forces. With nowhere to hide, the survivors of Team Pied Piper receive a call from the Japanese government, who offer them protection and assistance, following a pact Christoph made with the Seekers before he passed away, according to which Fleur would succeed him as the leader of Generation Blue. To stop the Allied forces from claiming the courses belonging to the scud corals, Team Pied Piper teams up with the Japanese government and the Seekers. Elena and Maggie Kwan join the Allied IFO team, as Neru organizes followers to support her campaign to have the plant corals shut down, But Eureka shows up and forces Elena to realize the truth about her roots from 1981 that she so desperately wanted to suppress. Soon after, both are sent to battle Ao, and when he eventually succeeds in convincing Elena to back off, Truth now fused with the Nifo appears before them. Ao is attacked by Truth, but Neru saves him and the Nervash by teleporting them to her side in Okinawa. When Team Harlequin emerges and announces that Truth can kill anyone who approaches him in his current state, Ao and Neru are once again talking about the circumstances after their separation. Ao ought to avoid him since he is a Karelian's offspring. Ao chooses to team up with his allies in opposition to Truth nonetheless. Renton Thurston, Eureka's husband, boards the first Nervash in the background to try to save his wife. When the quartz gun fires again, Truth is erased, and Ao's Nervash is changed into the Nervash Neo, as they struggle for control of the weapon. Additionally, it rewrites history once more to show that Neru and the allies were beaten by Generation Blue. Ao first encounters his father Renton when he sees the Nervash Spec V3 emerging from the pillar, as Neru is being treated at the hospital. After briefly running into the phased-out Eureka, Renton travels with Ao to Iwatojima. There, he expresses his gratitude to Toshio for caring for his family, and decides to use the quartz gun to destroy the original Scub coil on his timeline, in order to stop it from spreading throughout the dimensions. As Ao meets him to halt it, he discovers that, strangely, Truth has not entirely vanished, but has instead evolved into the archetype of the Nervash Neo. Ao also heard that Iris Thurston, his older sister, had passed away soon after birth. He then decides to use the quartz gun's final shot to deny the existence of the Seekers, in an effort to alter Eureka's course and bring her back together with Renton. As a result, Ao is sent to June 15, 2027, when he bids Truth goodnight. After wiping off the Okinawa Scub coil, Ao is no longer tied to reality. He is unable to physically engage with the world outside of the Nervash, despite being able to freely move anywhere and at any moment across the newly established history. Instead, he runs across Neru, Ellen, Maggie, and Fleur in the past, where he assists them and warns them of impending events. His efforts lead to the creation of the Generation Blue of the new timeline. His goal is to save Ao and bring him back to reality.